Hey, everybody. What's up? We never have any followers waiting. So I find that, or viewers waiting. I find that funny when we get on. But the first thing they say when you do one of these things is acknowledge the replay viewers. So I want to acknowledge them. What's up, everybody? You're on the couch with Ryan. This is my guest, Mr. Anthony D. Hughes. If you forget the D, then you lame as hell. So we want to thank him, thank him for coming on and just spending some time with us, or wasting some time with us during the pandemic. So yeah, man, y'all sit down, pop a squat. My guest is originally from Detroit, Michigan. Currently lives in Nashville, Tennessee. Super business executive, love him to death. The man is, I would almost consider, a professional mentor. But Mr. Hughes, I just opened the floor to you and just want to get your first thoughts.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that's a compliment. I appreciate that. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Yeah.
Don't know what's gonna happen.
Did you see my name? Did you see my name that I put in today?
Yeah, I saw it.
Thus far, I should have put thus far.
Yeah.
I haven't been tested, so we don't really know yet, y'all.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to spending this 30 minutes.
I love how you put a time frame in that, so I knew to keep it at 30 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
it's 10:01. We have 28 minutes to go, like 17 and a half questions. And I say half because I might add on.
17 questions.
I mean, there might be more. Oh, hold on. We got our first comment, y'all.
Stephanie SJH.
Yo, look, check it out.
I told her, don't come in here acting crazy and asking.
We need her in here tonight. No. Well, first, let me ask you, how are you living with the lockdown? How's everything going over there with you, and how different is it?
In terms of socially, it's different because when you go out, you kind of like look at everybody like, do they have it? Do they have it? You know, you have to constantly, you know, like today I went out to the gas station, so I had like gloves and I had like a rag. So you have to constantly like wipe stuff down, making sure you're not like touching stuff. So that's been kind of difficult. Professionally, working at home it takes a lot to like get used to. I couldn't do this like every day. You know, I need to like get up, put some clothes on, interact with people.
Yeah.
So it's different.
You know, Hope just jumped in here and said, welcome to the hot seat. I pass the crown to you. Best show out there right now. I was informed by my executive producer, also known as my wife, that I spelled negative wrong, and I didn't notice that. So thank you, executive producer, keeping us on top of our game here. You're officially watching On the Couch with Ryan with negative spelled wrong. My guest again, Anthony Hughes, one of the best guys you've ever seen. Anthony, what moves you? What keeps you going?
I would say family. My sons, my oldest son is 29, my younger son is 26. So I kind of, you know, they're like they're like adults now.
Yeah.
But they still haven't like achieved like everything that they want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of keep going because I want to see them like achieve their dream. So I think by the time they do that, it'll be time for me to kind of like retire. So then I can kind of like enjoy it.
Do you find it difficult not being able to control their success, almost like you were when they were younger, by taking them to practices and being able to do all the fun stuff that parents do to get them, you know, out there in the world?
I mean, I don't try to control them, and I don't think parents should try to control their kids in terms of like what they want to do in life. I would say just make sure that your child has a dream, and then you just kind of support them in their dream, because it's their dream, it's not yours.
Yeah, I think it's hard because most parents feel like they want to do something different for their kids that they didn't get, but then realistically, they're trying to live vicariously through them. And I think most people can kind of like identify with that in some small way, where you're like, yeah, well, maybe that was your thing, but it's really not mine.
Right. And I always look at it like when I was their age, I didn't want my parents like telling me what to do because I knew what I wanted to do. So I look at it from that perspective, like I can't tell you what to do, but I'll be there to support you.
Right.
You know? And I'm not going to support a dream that's not a dream. So if you have my support, like I know that if you work it like you're supposed to work it, like it'll eventually pay off.
What's one of the things that your kids wanted to do that you couldn't support?
That I couldn't support?
I think we might. Yeah, what's one of the dreams that your kids had that you just couldn't support, like getting a motorcycle, deciding they want to be an artist over in Europe?
So my oldest son has a Harley.
Mm-hmm.
And at first we kind of like thought it was a phase, like, hey, he's gonna get this motorcycle and like ride it around the corner and like be done with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not really like a Instagram person.
Yeah.
So he uses Instagram instead of Facebook. So his mother said, hey, like you need to get his Instagram. So, I asked him, to be his friend. So he posts these pictures on his Instagram where he's like on the motorcycle, he's like doing wheelies and standing on, on the handlebars.
Yeah.
That like worries us, so that's something that I thought he would grow out of, but he hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like pray every day, like, please let this phase go away.
Well, see, that's the difference between you and me, because I feel like I would steal the keys and throw them in the Cumberland or something. I'd have been like, hey, man, I don't even know what happened to your keys. In fact, it must be rough out here for you.
Yeah. No, my son, I like that. But yeah, like I said, I wish he would get out of that phase. Because every time he gets on a bike, like, we worry until like when he leaves until he comes back. So.
Well, what's the biggest thing that millennials don't get? And I feel like you have a great understanding of this because you work with, realistically, a good amount of millennials every day, right?
Do you want the real answer?
I want the real answer. I want you got on here at 9:00 Nashville time, 10:00 Eastern. The people are like, we want to know, what is it that we're not getting? What is it we're not connecting with?
I think millennials feel like they're entitled. I think they feel like they can kind of do like whatever they want to do, and then when they don't like it or it's not going their way, instead of them fighting or to try to like understand, they just give up and be like, oh, okay, I'll just go get another job like tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't think they get that. And then they look at us, people in my generation, because like, when you follow your dream, when you have your dream, if you're in your dream job, you're doing what you love, like you fight for it, you work for it. So, and you are going to have obstacles, but you have to know how to like overcome those obstacles.
But don't you think a lot of that though is a person figuring out what that career is or what that opportunity is? Because I feel like can't the same thing be said for your generation? And I feel like, the 10 years that you get in between graduating high school and before you're 30, you have no idea who the hell you are, right? And you're still trying to figure that out.
I'm gonna cut you off.
Go ahead. I'm here for it. Come with it.
So it shouldn't take you like 20 years to find out what you want to do.
Well, you said 20. I'm saying 10.
It shouldn't even take 10.
Really?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Like you should know if you go to college or if you graduate from high school, you should know what you want to do in life. You shouldn't be wandering the streets, partying, getting high, drunk, just chilling all day for like 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, you're adding more years to it. Did you not spend any time getting drunk, getting high, just having fun?
What'd you say?
What I'm saying is, Did you have any fun getting high, getting drunk, and just having fun?
I did that when I was in college. So like that
Oh,
was
I thought you said you did that last week, but it's all
no.
right. I'm gonna let you roll with Friday was lit on the lockdown.
Excuse me, that was the purpose of college. You do all that when you in college. So when you graduate, like it's time to like live. It's time to like live a life.
It's time to grow up. I think that's what you're trying
Right.
to get at. And I
You know,
think that's one of the
millennials
things.
don't get that.
Yeah, look, we're still a work in progress. We had a lot of ribbons and medals that said we were number one, and I'm still believing it. So, we're just going to ride with that. Hold on. Henry Cunningham said, no, no, no. The average person doesn't understand how to be grown in their mid 20s. I can agree with that because I had to Google how to put a stamp on an envelope. That happened. I'm embarrassed to say it, but it did. So yeah, being an adult sucks. Hold on. Hope has a comment here. Let's go here. I feel like the more Gen Z than millennials. We graduated in the recession, grew up without social media. And there's an Instagram generation. No, that's so true, Hope. I do feel like that everybody, went from, not really being a part of a media platform to, like we've been saying, I feel like this kind of phase has been super cool because most people have kind of talked about how social media is an extension of your personality now, and then it's almost like you're bringing that fakeness with you because you're always doing it for the gram, or you're really in that situation where you're just doing it for, the likes. Do you feel like social media is a part of your personality?
No, I mean, I use it just like, communicate with like friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
If I post something, it's just usually like positive. And when I post something, I don't care if you like it or if you don't like it. Like, I mean, I don't care. So I'm not going to get upset because I don't have like 5,000 likes. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Can you call those 5,000 people and say, hey, can you send me $5?
Big facts. Big facts.
If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I don't care.
When it comes to the great rapper Obi Trice, Mike Ilitch, the owner, I guess the creator of Little Caesars, and Jimmy Hoffa's son, what do they all have in common with you?
You said Jimmy Hoffa, Mike Ilitch, and who was the other person?
So you got Mike and you got Obi Trice. Come on, man. He's a rapper. All from Detroit, obviously. That's one.
Well, I would say, like, I mean, Jimmy Hoffa, I mean, like, nothing. Like,
no, they all went to your high school, man. God, I really did some research today. I went down
did
the
you?
list. Yes, they all went to your high school. Could you please shout the high school that's been closed since 2009 out? Could you please shout them out?
Okay, so I want to give a shout out to any Cooley Cardinal fan that's out there. So yeah, that's my high school, Cooley High, graduate of Cooley High in 1985.
What's the one thing that you remember most about growing up in Detroit? Cooley's on the west side, right?
Right, Cooley's on the west side. It's like Finkel and Hubble. Yeah, Finkel and Hubble. I grew up in on Winthrop, about 7 Mile Greenfield. You said what was the question again?
No, I said what's the one thing that you remember most about growing up on the west side of Detroit?
I would say what I remember most is like neighborhoods, like friends and kids. Like we would play in the summertime, like we would ride our bikes, play basketball. We play football in the wintertime in the snow. Me and my friends, everybody had bikes. So we would do like dirt trails and stuff and do, jump wheelies. So I think that's like missing in like society today. I don't see that like in neighborhoods.
So tell me a little bit about why you chose Tennessee State University over Wayne State University. I feel like Wayne State in Detroit is just it's an easy out. It's an easy pick. You could have went over there, still got some good cooking from your grandmama and mama, and you could have just enjoyed yourself. Why make a trip 8 hours away to Nashville, of all places, comparable to someplace back home in Michigan?
So I would say like the number one reason is, but I graduated when I was like 17 years old. So if I would have stayed at home and went to school at home,
Yeah.
I would have been still living at home.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been, under my mother's like rules and regulations. So I mean, if you say you're going to be like an adult or be a man, and like you have to make that decision. So I said, okay, so if I make this move and go, go away to school,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my own. It's like just me. So I said, in order for me to like leave the nest, I really got to like leave the nest.
Do you feel like you were betting on yourself?
Yeah, because I think if I didn't, then like I think my mother probably would have tried to like control, like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. So I was like, no, I gotta go.
What are you struggling with right now? Besides the sipping.
Besides the what?
Besides the sipping, you took a good long one on that
one. I would say I'm probably struggling with what most people are struggling with right now. This corona stuff, like we don't know like what's gonna happen. So you try to like live a normal life as much as you can, but then like that's still in the forefront. And I'm constantly thinking, okay, so will we ever, get back to normal, or is this like the new normal?
Yeah, I like that.
Because if this is the new normal, like I'm not feeling this at all.
Well, they said that liquor stores are essential facilities, so I think we'll be able to push through to a certain extent. What life lessons have you learned the hard way?
I would say taking feedback. When I was younger, when I started my career, I kind of thought I knew what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to do it like my way, and it always like backfired.
Yeah.
And then when people would give me feedback, I would say, oh, well, you don't know what you're doing. Not thinking and saying to myself like, hey, this person's been in the game for like 20, 30 years. They know something. So once I like start taking the feedback, I just kind of like, reflect and say, you know what, you probably could have been a lot further had you taken that feedback earlier than not take it at all.
It's like the whole hindsight is 2020.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like there's so many options of things that we could have done, but at the same time, it's like that's how you get experience, right? Because you go through and you figure out what not to do. What do you feel like is the hardest part about being a Black man in corporate America today?
Brian, you weren't supposed to ask all these hard questions.
I don't feel like they're hard. I feel like they're ones that you have to deal with because you can't change who you are when you get up and go, right? And those already have preconceived notions when you get there. So, I mean, I think that their questions, yeah, they're hard, but I also think that, you're the one that's been through it longer than most. And I think it's super cool that you can have an opportunity to try to, share those experiences. Like you said, being a professional mentor is something that a lot of people just don't have. So I think it's super cool that you're getting on here today and just really kind of expressing yourself and sharing those things that you've been through.
Mm-hmm. I would say, you said what was one of the things that I deal with?
Just what is the hardest part about being a Black man in corporate America?
I would say sometimes like having to prove yourself, like literally having to like show proof.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen my ability, if you've heard of my ability, then you shouldn't question or ask or give me a directive as if I don't know what I'm going to do.
So like being second guessed and kind of handheld.
Right. Because you've seen what I'm capable of doing. So don't, so if you ask me to do a basic job duty, then don't tell me how the results should be, because I already know how to do it.
Who was the last person that you kissed? This is what you're here for, man. You on the couch with Ryan, y'all. And make sure y'all like and subscribe, share. We're going to get it out here tonight, y'all. We're here with Anthony Hughes. He's the man with the plan in Nashville. And we just excited to spend some time with y'all. Appreciate all my viewers that are out there jumping in the chat. But we just asked Anthony, who was the last person that you kissed? And we're waiting on the answer.
Jessica.
All right. That was a strong, long out. Jessica, y'all get in and make it happen. What do you want to be remembered by?
I would say probably, somebody that tried to help, because I think, that's what I'm here for, to help. And I think if, we as a human race, I think a lot of the issues that we go through, like we bring them on ourselves. I mean, we should help everybody. You should help, you should help and respect people regardless of who they are and what they are. You may like something, you may wear whatever, if that's what you like, then I should respect the fact that that's what you like. Yeah. So, and I think if people like live that way, we wouldn't have half the shit that we got going on now.
So my next question, I kind of like, because I don't know, it's just like, you got to hear it. But like, what's the biggest misconception that people have about Anthony that you've been having for years? Just been able to come up with is just off the top.
I would say people say I'm not approachable. People say I'm mean, and that's like not even my character.
Right. I'll be honest. I feel like I got that vibe from you when I first met you, because I was like, Mr. Don't Play, right? And I think I remember when first or second time me and you had like a conversation off to the side, and then I found out that, you were funny, and I was like, okay, cool, that's an in, so I can always make a joke, and then, he'll be cool. But no, man, I think that that is a real true misconception. But I think a lot of people that are in a certain environment, especially corporate ones too, you might come off as, somebody that's too hard, somebody that's not cordial. But then just in the same token, how can you judge me if you only met me for the first time, right? So it's kind of like, catch-22.
Right. And then I find too, because again, like I said, that's not my character. I'm respectful like everybody. I expect you to respect me because I'm going to respect you. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So sometimes you try to have conversation with people, you try to befriend people, and then they look at you like, okay, well, why are you like talking to me?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
What's the hardest part about being in a relationship to you?
I would say it would go back to like respect, respecting that person, respecting boundaries, and just realizing that although you may be in a relationship, that's still like a human being. And like sometimes you just want like a long time, I may not want to like talk to you. I may not want to like look at you or hold you or cuddle you or have a conversation with you. I just want to like be by myself. And it don't mean that I don't love you and don't want to be with you. I just like I need some me time. So if
Do you
you
feel like it's hard to get that across to a potential mate or a potential partner?
what was that?
Do you feel like that's hard to get across to somebody that's potential in a relationship, that you do need that space and not necessarily trying to turn them off to you, but just like, I need my time, man.
No, I mean it's not hard for me to communicate it. Like I mean,
Oh no, it's a text, it's an email, it's a call. I got a phone signal if you need it.
I mean it's not hard for me to communicate it, and I think I communicated pretty clearly.
Yeah.
The problem is, did you comprehend it and understand it?
Mm.
So I mean, if you can't understand it, then that's not my problem, that's yours. And if I told you that this was an issue or a problem, like, you need to try to figure it out.
The first time you smoked a cigarette, how old were you and how did that experience go?
You going deep, ain't you?
Oh, I just want to know. I want to know.
Um, how old are you when you're like in the third or fourth grade?
Wait, hold on, man. What? What? You mean like 8? Like, what? You just Marvel Man, just making it happen. You just like bubblegum and menthol, like no filter, baby. You said 8 years old, the fourth grade.
So when we were growing up, my mother and my grandmother and my aunts would say, "Hey, like, go light this cigarette for me."
Oh,
So
okay.
we gonna light the cigarette, but we'll take a couple of puffs by the time we got back to get the cigarette.
The fact that you said a couple of puffs, I know exactly how many that is. That's like less than 6, but more than 3. So
Right.
it's like a couple. Anthony, what is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? It would have to be like 2 words. I would say like my favorite 2 would be Jesus and love.
Mm. What's your most painful memory?
The death of my mother.
Mm. I think, there's never a way that you can replace a parent. It seems like it's one of those weird vibes that most people have when it's just like you can't really tell somebody what that feels like, but then also feel like you really can't prepare yourself for what you're supposed to go through or get ready to even try to do. What's your best memory?
The birth of my sons.
What do you remember most about it?
I remember my oldest son, Brandon, when he came. I never forget this. When he came out, I was sitting in the chair. Erica was in the bed, and he came out like looking at me like that. So of course, he had like all the blood and stuff from there.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, this kid is ugly as hell.
wait. I remember when my son was born, I was so concerned that he was so light skinned, and no one told me when babies come out, they look like a completely different thing than what they're going to turn out. And I was like, yo, man, y'all need to start doing something here because I'm starting to get hot as the moments kind of continue. I was like, I ain't got hair like that. That grade ain't Ryan. And they was like, nah, that's just because the baby was in water for 9 months. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
hey, Hervé, is that Hervé?
Yeah, they want to know what you're drinking.
Stella Rosa.
All right, big spender. I like that. What's the one thing that you would want to tell yourself at 25 to stop worrying about?
I would say I would tell like my 25-year-old self, like, stop chasing money and like chase your dream. because if you chase your dream and you get your dream, like the money will come. So I think sometimes people chase money and just chase like dollar signs and green. Like they'll do anything to kind of like get that money. So just like, chase your dream, follow your dreams, and the money will come.
When did you know that God was real in your life?
At an early age. Like, when I was growing up, like, we went to church like Tuesday, Friday, Sunday night.
We call them holy rollers where I'm from.
Yeah. So God has always, been and is like the most important part of my life.
So when was your faith tested the most?
I would say again, when my mother passed, I knew, like, once I realized, like, hey, like, she's gone, like, this is it, like, so it's not, so I have to move from the mourning stage to like the planning stage. So I have to make sure, like I'm, there for my brothers and sisters. So, in order for me to like do that, I had to have like a real strong like faith in God.
Yeah.
To like plan, to plan your mother's funeral, to close her casket, like you have to have, faith in somebody.
Yeah.
To be able to get you through, something like that.
I appreciate you being on. I appreciate you being who you are. I think it's so little that we get to have, uninterrupted, straight conversation and just really being able to see, the folds of a person, because I think everybody goes through so many experiences. But the only way that we get that knowledge is being able to have a conversation. I think about some of the oral history that happens in Africa and just, somebody being able to just spill all of, what's happening in a tribe and not necessarily have a verbal or a dictation just sitting down. And so I just really want to say thank you for getting on with me tonight, and just spending some time on the couch. And really, I hope I didn't go too hard. Everybody in the comments like, man, Ryan just doing all this. Ryan doing, nah, man. Look, we out here having real conversations with real people, and I feel like y'all wouldn't want to watch if we weren't having real conversations. So, no, Anthony, I just thank you for all the honesty and really just all the love that you showed tonight.
No problem, sir. I appreciate you inviting me on.
I think we got 32 minutes in.
Yeah.
We went over. I feel like it was you, though. It wasn't me.
No. I would say longer, but I have like a 5 a.m. conference call.
Look, this is corporate America. This is what you got to do, man. Oh, wait a minute. Shout out one charity or nonprofit before we jump off. We got to do that.
Special Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Special Olympics. So, yeah, my youngest son is autistic. So I am very involved and active with Special Olympics of Tennessee.
All right, man. Y'all make sure y'all jump on and throw them some coins. Once again, this is On the Couch with Ryan. Shout out to all the re-watchers, and hopefully y'all see something from me soon. And y'all stay safe out there on lockdown. Appreciate you again, Anthony. Love you much, brother.
Love you too. Take care, guys.